Good afternoon and welcome to Bowls Auckland's final weekend, the pinnacle of the Bowls Auckland calendar for the 24-25 season. We're coming to you live this afternoon from Royal Oak Bowling Club under the newly renamed Auckland Plumbers Group Pavilion, where the covered green has been called upon this weekend due to Auckland's unpredictable weather. The crowds have gathered and the stakes couldn't be higher. Our first broadcast match this afternoon is the men's triples final after a competition full of hard-fought battles and very eventful post-section play. It all comes down to this. My name is Brendan Walton, the club partner operations for Bowls Auckland, and I'm joined in the commentary this afternoon by local bowler and career sports journalist Paul Naser.
Hi Brendan, nice to be here and looking forward to this game because it's a clash of styles. If you're not familiar with the players, Carlton Cornwall in the brown and yellow. The lineup is Paul Lau leading, Patrick Ing second, and Chong De Cheng is the skip. And these guys will not do anything showy. They are very consistent. They reduce any damage if it's being done. They are quite happy to walk away one down, and they will not do anything fancy, but they're very hard to get big numbers against. Their opposition, three of the brightest young talents in Auckland bowls. That's Davey Motu, who's just delivered one of his trial bowls. Standing behind him is Ryan Hill, and skipping for the Auckland Bowling Club is Ryan's cousin Liam. And they're already well respected. They're rep players, all of them at various levels, quality players. They will try anything and they back themselves to get it done. So totally different styles on show here today. It's going to be very interesting to see which one comes out on top.
Yeah, definitely. It's a real clash of style. As you say, that Carlton team, you see them sort of week in, week out at the local competition circuit. With quite good success rate too, really. They're pretty competitive around the traps. But yeah, as you say, those young boys, very aggressive, modern style. They'll look to convert big shots. Playing in a slightly different order to what they normally would, Ryan, usually off the front. So Davey obviously just going a little bit better on the draw and putting Ryan into that sort of two position. However, as we know, two-bowl triples is very much a drawing game, so that flashy style is very risk-reward as we see Davey make that correction with his second bowl.
And you'll notice that the Auckland Bowling Club bowls will have the mauve rings on them. Carlton Corn will have the yellow, so that will at least give us a fairly easy handle on who's doing what to who.
Yeah, definitely, and Carlton Cornwall will definitely be enjoying the fact they took the top side of the draw, getting the yellow stickers.
Finding their range at the moment, but it's nothing bad about any of this because if they've missed long. So there's no short stuff getting in the way. Be interested to see how Ryan plays it too. I've played against all these guys, and Ryan is a very good lead bowler. He has been since he started, and it will be interesting to see how he goes in a slightly different role. No worries about Davey leading. He's a good player anywhere.
So second bowl of Patrick looking to make his correction. He's grabbed a piece of the jack. Still looks like one to Davey's bowl. Ryan very quick into his work. Much like his father, Jamie Hill, very quick player onto the mat, gets the vision and away. Just pulling up a little bit short with his second bowl. This rink wasn't played on this morning. Our women's singles final was concluded on the rink just next door. Lisa Prideaux defeating Henrietta Scott 21-17. Very tight competitive match there. No, I don't think we did.
Yeah, now with these guys, Chong is very consistent. He'll back himself to draw and outdraw his opponent 9 times out of 10, whereas if Liam feels that there needs to be a bit of rearranging of the furniture, he's definitely not scared to do it, and he's very good at it. But early doors, I would imagine you'll see both of them trying to get their draw working. Chong a bit wide there, but his weight's not bad for his first offering. And we'll see where this leads in about 2 minutes. We'll see who's got the early advantage.
Oh, that's a risky shot there from Liam. Really not wanting to turn that bowl in.
To be fair, he may have been one down already.
Yeah,
so
if he was one down already, it's not the end of the world. Looks to be coming in a little bit high again.
Yeah, we've seen on both sides of the rink they've been missing on the wide side, but they'll get that sorted out pretty quickly. They're all very good players, of course. Wouldn't be here if they weren't.
Both of these guys, Chong and Liam, playing with the Dreamline XG, so you do expect that little bit of hook just at the end. Characteristic of the bowl, of course. Oh,
Runs through your head.
So it looks like it's one to the Carlton. We'll just wait for the confirmation. Oh, they've got the mat, so...
Yep, one it is.
One it is.
And this is Patrick off the front end, I'm sure. I'm sure the playing order we've got is, this is...
this is definitely
Patrick King leading. Yep. So the list that we were given coming into the game is not what it is on your screen. But that would probably be what I would consider their preferred option. As Patrick is a very good lead bowler. He's not easily ruffled. He just puts a bowl on the jack and then he puts another one up there. Nothing really bothers him at all. So he's a good man to have off the front for your team.
Yeah, just missing his green this time. It's interesting. It does tend to turn a little bit, well, this is my opinion anyway. I think it turns a little bit more coming back towards the clubhouse at Royal Oak.
I'd agree with that.
Certainly these covered greens tend to have their little characteristics in them. They're all a little bit different.
Yeah, see, that one bit quite nicely for David. He got his weight spot on, and he's put it in the place that Liam was happy with from quite early on in that bowl's path.
Yeah, looking just to be just under that line again. Just settling in though, early stages.
Not a bad return of serve, mind.
Yeah, pretty consistent with his speed too. I guess the key to success for the Carlton team is not letting the young boys get too settled in. If they start getting comfortable on the draw, they will capitalise on their opportunities. They'll feel confident to take those chances. So Carlton need to be consistent in turning over heads, making sure that they're scoring regularly. Because when the opportunity arises, the young guns will definitely look to score.
Yeah, and if there was one team I would say I'd expect to pick up big numbers, it would probably be the Auckland Bowling Club team. Carlton will put a lot of bowls around the jack. That's their game, as they fill up the space around the jack. If they're going to lose in the end, they'll lose it by one.
Yep.
They're not fussed by that.
I've been told on good authority that Chong's a big fan of the back bowl as well.
Oh, yeah.
Not that he's got the fastest drive going around, but he certainly does play into the head very, very well.
Yeah, good bowl here from Ryan too. This is going to go to a good home. Just slightly over, but nothing wrong with that.
I guess it's worth mentioning we're playing under what I would call championship conditions. So no respots, no time limits, incorrectly delivered jacks will be rethrown. So we're in for a full game of bowls. Very minimalistic yet deliberate style of Ryan Hill. Coming in on a nice line again. You see that signature Dreamline hook.
Yeah. Two pretty good bowls from Ryan there. He's got his green working nicely.
So as we look across that, there we go. Look at that.
There we go. The
You
young,
can
the
tell
young
the
guys,
young guys have been on TV before.
they're more TV savvy, aren't they?
There we go.
Don't know if anybody was whispering in their ears, but they were onto it pretty quickly.
Oh.
There you go. There's Chung doing what he does very well. Quite happy to use somebody else's bowl to stop his own. He's got Liam thinking about his shot.
Not a bad spot to finish there. If Chong gets a piece of that jack and trails it, he's covering the danger. Not quite sure if he likes that one. Looks to be heavy. Sits on his own though. He'll give himself an opportunity.
He already had the one. He's just tightened it up a little bit.
This is where that opportunity I think comes in. There's opportunity just to arrive and chip that bowl out. Equally, still plenty of room to draw.
Don't think it's going to work for him, is it?
Yeah, looked like he was kind of playing in between weight there. He sort of wanted to play a draw, but also sit that bowl through.
Another one to Carlton, so they're off to a tidy little start early doors. That was a comment made in the intro, was that Carlton will play a lot of bowls like that. They won't do anything fancy. They will back themselves to outdraw their opponents right down the line from one through to skip. They will back themselves to outdraw their immediate opponent, and history says they're actually pretty good at doing it. So they're the old death of 1,000 cuts, these guys. They just keep putting bowls there, putting them there, and it's up to you to find a way to beat them.
Yeah, definitely.
Correct. 2 innings played.
Well, there's that back bowl we talked about.
Yeah.
Not a bad bowl to start with, really, and it's the sort of thing you can make an easy correction from there. It's much easier to correct your weight than to try and find the line. Older style bowl as well.
Liam's happier with this one, isn't he?
Yeah, that's a great start there from David. Without getting too much of a close-up, it looks like an old classic too, which, to be fair, is actually quite well suited for this sort of surface at Royal Oak. It's not the quickest carpet going around, and it does favour a slightly more wider biased bowl.
Yeah, I think the obvious answer is it favours somebody who gets their green right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's not going to rob you. If you put 3 down the same line, they'll finish up in the same place.
Definitely.
And that's all you can ask, is consistent playing quality, and you get it here. You're not going to get fleeced by vagaries in the carpet.
Yeah, it certainly rewards those that are more consistent with the delivery and are very deliberate. There are a couple of little quirks across the rinks that you do spot from time to time, but again, the quirks are consistent. You can use them to your advantage once you know where they are.
Yeah.
You tend to see it playing for a right-hander on the forehand side back towards the clubhouse. Tends to have a little bit more hook, which can be quite useful. Looks to be a little bit disappointed in that one. Although, to be fair, it's not bad. He's going to come to a good spot again.
He's going to break up that little triangle at the back, so that's, well, not quite. He's just run through it. Means anything running the jack through has to be pretty controlled from Carlton if they're going to try and do that.
Another one in behind. So a little bit of work for Chong. Although how the head's set up, I think it'd be a little bit risky to try and make a conversion. I think just getting the shot first is going to be the priority.
Yeah, I think that's very much what will be on his mind. That's the way he plays. He'll back himself to get in there.
Oh, look, there's plenty of room to draw there.
Oh, yeah.
Davies, what, just over a foot past the jack.
Oh, you'd think so, wouldn't you?
The young boys last weekend at Mount Albert's 30k Invitational Fours had a pretty good run. They finished third equal. Very impressive performance in what was quite testing conditions. And I say that with some authority because I didn't win a single game despite playing reasonably well at times.
I didn't win one either, but that's because I wasn't there.
So under the line here from Chong. Pretty fair effort with the weight.
It's, yeah, Liam can get a third one in here, though. You're starting to put a bit of pressure on Chong for the first time.
Yeah, he looks a bit under the line again, actually, following Chong.
Slides in off the inside of his own.
Possibly.
Hard to tell if they're counting.
He's got a really good option to change hands now if he wanted to. I still think while that forehand is open, it's probably the preferred hand to play. Definitely a better green. This is looking good for the speed. Needs to get down onto Davies' bowl. Well, that'll definitely be second.
Yeah, well, and that's the sort of thing Chong will be.
See,
quite
this is where the
happy to
opportunity arises now. Liam has
Yeah.
a really good chance to drive underneath the jack to sit both those bowls out and probably score a 3 or 4. It's a pretty early shot, though. There's opportunity, but
Yeah.
I think just given that it's early stage, just going to look to draw another one. If he can work off Ryan's bowl, sorry.
May have.
Possibly. There was a bit of a soft indication there, but we'll wait for it to be confirmed. Oh, there we go. So a replay of the first bowl of the end. Hung on all the way. Not very often when you put a bowl that close as a lead does it stay there to count.
No.
So great bowl there from Davey. Early highlight reel.
We didn't get a confirmation of if any others counted either, so they very quickly decided what was going on. No measure required.
And look at that, he's right back into it with that first bowl.
Yeah, good start.
Another great opening shot there from David Motu. 2 was the score.
So, yeah, 2 each after 3. Probably the sort of start that you could expect from these guys.
Yeah, look, I mean, we've sort of played up the contrast and style, and it's actually been quite reserved in the early stages, but definitely as the game goes on, you'll see the animation and character come out of the young boys.
Yeah, well, they're all pretty experienced despite their age. Davey and Liam have cleared juniors already. They're about year 7s, I think,
Yeah,
at the moment.
7 or 8. Ryan's in his 4th year,
Yeah.
just completing his 4th year.
They've played a lot of bowls for guys of that age and that experience,
Yeah,
haven't they?
and look, you know, when you got the Hills, for example, very decorated family, there's an ongoing debate on Facebook at the moment as to who's the highest ranked hill. Between
Mount Everest.
Yeah, well, exactly. You know, you've got old Bones there, the grandfather, Kirsty and Jamie, and now Davey and so not Davey, sorry, Liam and Ryan.
Yep.
You know, the competition's pretty fierce. They're all having high levels of success throughout the year. Kirsty Liam's mum, of course, now down in Fielding, playing out of the Manawatu Centre. Pretty much walked into the rep team down there. Immediate success in centre events, so
Yep.
definitely it's in the blood.
Yeah, and I know I've known Ryan almost since he came into bowls, and he works very hard at his game. He's very focused. He practices well. He knows what he's trying to do, and he doesn't try and play too many miracle shots. Again, he's a guy who will back himself to do the basics better than you can.
Oh, yeah.
And his ability to keep his head mean that he's got good reason to think like that.
Yeah.
He's a very difficult customer, and once he settles into what he's doing, he can be very hard to shake.
Yeah. And I guess from an early age, it's the exposure to the highest level of bowls possible.
Good note here.
Oh, it's a great shot. Look at that. So this is a big bowl now for Patrick.
Pull.
I'll tell you what,
This
if this starts turning, that is a pretty fair effort.
Yep.
That's a great bowl.
You'll take that, wouldn't you?
So just as the players are crossing over, worth mentioning, you'll see in the background a variety of other semi-final matches. We have the women's triples, which the final will be broadcast a little bit later this afternoon. We also have the men's singles semi-finals. And throughout the broadcast, we will bring you updates. We're not going to do an end by end, but sporadically we will put some updates up on screen so you can track your club mates and friends in those matches.
Somebody's well in charge on the next rink. I
Yeah,
think a
that's-
score of 10-1.
That's the Neil Fisher, Cameron Higgins game. Neil Fisher, of course, most known out of Browns Bay, playing out of Howick on this side of the bridge. Up against Cameron Higgins, playing out of Glen Eden. Bit of an unknown in Auckland, but for those that have been around a little while, a former junior representative out of the Gate Par Club in Tauranga,
Okay.
which was also my club back in the day. So 2 national secondary school peers titles to his name. Some under 18 appearances in the New Zealand side as well. 10 years off the game. And his return has also coincided with the birth of his first child, due in a few weeks. So it'll be a very short-lived return.
Either that or a very long one.
Or a very long one, yeah, exactly. So he was actually in our team over the Easter weekend. Played with a bit of an OG team from Tauranga. Good little reunion, great fun. Now you'll certainly be one to watch Cameron as he gets a bit more back into it. Made the top, I want to say top 8 in the Nationals. Possibly the top 16, I can't remember exactly. But yeah, on his return to the game, he's sort of found his success and picked up where he's left off. So be one to watch as Chong promotes Liam's bowl up, but it's not going to change the count. It'll be 1 to the Auckland Bowling Club side. David Motu drops the mat down to get the 5th end underway. And we see a replay of that great shot there from Patrick, securing second when it was all looking against them. Look at that facial expression, watching it all the way in. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Here's Patrick with the money ball. Little nudge on the jack. He's He's not a bad coach, Patrick. When I started playing, he'd come down to the winter coaching program at Epsom and run people through their exercises. If he was a doctor, you'd say he has a good bedside manner. He's an easy guy to get on with. He gets his point across nicely, and just makes newer players feel pretty comfortable with what he's asking them to do.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of experience in coaching new bowlers as well. So obviously been a member of Carlton Cornwall for a very long time. Coaches the local collegiate schools as they come and visit Carlton. What's the name of the school right next door? My mind's just gone blank.
It's not Dio there, is
yeah,
it?
Dio. Yeah,
Oh,
that's the
it
one.
is Dio.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so regularly coaches there with those students, and then also part of Carlton Cornwall's fairly new junior development program, sort of bit of an emphasis on trying to bring some 1 to 5 year players into the game at Carlton. Those that have been around Auckland a while will know that Carlton's quite a historic club, very, how do I put this nicely, ageing population, I suppose. So trying to bring some new life into the club through the junior bowlers.
Yeah, I think it was fair to say that junior bowls was not maybe the club's priority for a while.
Yes, yeah, that's a much nicer way of saying it.
And they've got some good juniors at the moment.
Oh, yeah.
Henrietta Scott, who went down in the final of the women's singles, is still a junior. She's also in the under-26 program,
that New
plays
Zealand
at
under-26
Burnside,
space.
and she's one of a number of pretty handy players who are playing their trade out of Carlton.
A little drive-by from Ryan there. And I think what's interesting with Carlton now is they've established quite a good little squad of juniors, and it's actually attracting some of those, what we'll describe as fringe players. So by that, what I mean is, you know, good players who are sort of at smaller clubs that don't have many opportunities are moving to Carlton to get more opportunities as junior bowlers, playing with different players and people. So just recently, one I can think of, Penny Yam, moving from Blockhouse Bay into Carlton. A couple of guys from Remuera have also gone a little bit further up Market Road, up to Carlton, just to take advantage of those opportunities.
Yeah, if you've got a competitive bone in you want to play with the best you can play. And that's, you're looking at here, young fellas who are seriously competitive. Auckland Bowling Club is strong at the moment. They had a good run at the Nationals in a variety of disciplines. And these guys all play there. They've got some very experienced and very good players in the senior ranks there who are a lot older than these blokes.
Oh, definitely.
But they'll get in there and mix it up with them, and you get this them and your money.
Well, he might have moved it just far enough to bring Ryan's bowl in for shot.
I think he's possibly got 2 there. The brown one is probably going to count as well. Davies bowl.
But yeah, you're quite right, Paul. If you're looking for competition, certainly in the current environment, Auckland and possibly definitely Mount Albert Bowling Club are the 2 places to go in the men's ranks.
Yep, they are. And Howick is always very strong.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, so are Carlton, but definitely it changes and people move around a little bit and things migrate and clubs go through those waves. So it's not like we're picking on any particular clubs and making those comments, because, you know, it does move around.
And also juniors is first 5 years of your playing career, so you can have a good bunch of juniors, but there's a time limit on how long you're going to have them in the junior ranks.
Oh, of course.
And that's one of the things. Nobody stays a junior. Well, we joke that some guys are up to their 9th year in juniors, but you know, as I said in the intro, Liam and Davey have cleared juniors now, and Ryan's working his way through.
He wouldn't be happy with that last bowl, Liam. He had an opportunity there to really tidy this head up.
It's not going to burn him.
No, Chong's just slipped through.
Suspect there might be. That Ryan was very quick on the signal, so there was no argument about it, but I didn't quite catch what it was.
Alrighty, so a replay of that first bowl of Liam Hill.
This little chip on the jack was decisive, I think.
Yeah, definitely think it was just enough to bring, well, definitely enough. There was one down there, so he's moved it far enough and made one of it. Well, Davey has been pretty steady off the front for the first 5 ends of this game. Probably one of his looser starts, to be fair.
Gee, there's a bit of rain out there, so it's a good job they are undercover because there's a heavy shower just going through.
Yeah.
We're not far away from Royal Oak. We're not actually at the venue, but we're not far away.
Yeah.
And
Through the magic of television, we are in a lovely air-conditioned studio.
yep, with
We're there in spirit. WSL boys are on site with the camera work.
yeah, well you get much better lunches where we are. That's important.
It's all right. And just to break the fourth wall even further, we've got the commentators in our ear, so we're just buttering them up at the moment so we get an even nicer lunch.
Yeah.
Oh, not the commentators, the directors. We're the commentators. Great bowl there from Patrick. Back to the action, eh? Professionals and all.
No, that is a heavy shower of rain that's going through at the moment. It looks as if it may not be a shower, so I think they're happy to be undercover.
Yeah, I guess just to speak to that a little bit, we were scheduled originally to be at Mount Eden Bowling Club this afternoon, and as I'm sure any Aucklander will know, the forecast has not looked great this weekend. We had a severe rain warning come out Thursday morning from the New Zealand Herald, and we were watching quite intently and watching rain radars, and obviously we always wanted to be playing on our outdoor surfaces celebrating our game, but yeah, the 12:30 update on Thursday sort of forced our hand a little bit, and broadcasting is quite a logistical nightmare when it comes to arguing with the rain, so we made the call to go early. And to be fair, the players don't mind. They know what they're in for at Royal Oak. They're all regular attendees of Royal Oak tournaments, and it's a bit of a go-to option for our rain cover, so definitely no foul play in terms of experience on the carpet green here at Royal Oak.
No, there were a few showers this morning. There was one reasonably heavy came through, and it wasn't Central Queensland or anything like that, but it was enough to make the next door neighbour's cat a bedraggled bundle of self-pity. Didn't like getting wet at all.
And I think I saw in the crowd, just in the background, a couple of toasted sandwiches. So I'm guessing Des Fish has opened up the kitchen, and the hospitality is on.
You'd be surprised if it wasn't. Kitchen at Royal Oak is always worth investigating. So I just got a glimpse of the scoreboard in the background there, and one on the last end to Auckland. So the score is now 4-2 after 5. They're very quick with their agreeing, these guys, and often they don't make it very obvious. And Ryan is particularly quick at judging what he's got. Don't know what Liam's been doing with the band-aids all down his left arm. There's quite a line of them.
So what, if he gets a clean run, turn it over, is going to be enough. That's
this is going to be interesting for Chong.
What,
it's
1,
getting
2, 3.
difficult.
It's probably a 5 count there.
It's going to get difficult, but this is where he has to decide how he's going to attack this. Is he going to try and punch a bowl through and sit where it was? Because everything is short of the jack, so it makes getting in there a little bit tricky for him.
Yeah, look, he's tried to play that aggressive shot.
And he's missed quite
I'd probably
Quite
say
right
he
with
was
that.
a bit quick in his approach. Didn't need to be, like, didn't take his time playing the shot. The speed for the shot was good, but he was a bit quick in his action.
Yeah, well, with weight like that, if he hits one of the shorter bowls, he'll punch that through the head, and he'll probably run past the jack, but he'll get quite a few of them out of the count.
Now,
Liam's
see,
gone to the back
yeah,
here.
I disagree with the shot. I really don't like that shot.
Well, if it goes in the drink, it's not a great bowl.
You know, they've got one back bowl here, Carlton.
Yeah,
The worst they're going to do is go one down. Really.
possibly two.
You'd be very unlikely to go two down. They've just wasted an opportunity to score 6 here. Well,
Could
look
go
at that.
two
He's
down.
gone 2 down. That's a very well played shot from Chong. Even so, where Liam was trying to cover was just not where he, couldn't be further away.
Yeah, well, that's the sort of thing that Chong is good at, because he doesn't go for miracle shots. He goes for the highest
Yeah, plays the
percentage that he can
percentage.
find.
Yeah.
And in that case, his highest percentage was to strike one of the Auckland bowls, push it through the head. That would take sufficient pace off that he would probably run past the jack. Exactly what happened. He clipped the jack on the way, and he couldn't have got a better result if he tried.
Yeah. So, 4 all after 6 ends. We're a third of the way through this men's triples final.
It's a good start there. You'll take that every day.
Starting to get dialed in now, both these leads, finding their green nicely.
Yep.
Waiting for the men's singles there. You see Neil Fisher on the run. He got a really good result there off his own on the wing.
Bowl's been taken prisoner, I see.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've just been keeping an eye, as I say, got a bit of a teammate connection there with Cameron. I've been keeping an eye just in the background, and he's been bowling pretty well, but Neil's been converting a lot of those shots. Another great bowl there from Patrick. Pretty good leading.
This is really the first time he's managed to stack him up 1 fore and 1 aft. He's always had one in there somewhere, but this is the first time he's had 2 really close. So it'll be interesting to see how the young fellas reply. And
Yeah,
look
this
at
is that composure.
That's money.
That's the experience and composure. Just putting a really good bowl in the head. Probably still 1 down. Patrick's bowl will have the shot there, but having that bowl in the head is critical for the Auckland Bowling Club trio.
Yeah, this is now going to be an exercise in precision, and also tactics will come into this, especially if Ryan can rest either of those first or second shots. He could change the dynamic of the head significantly with 1 bowl here, but he's not far off doing it.
Yeah, he's certainly looking to play that trail weight. He's played that very well. He might have just stolen the shot out of that, actually. It's probably made it a little bit more difficult to sit Patrick's bowl now on the forehand.
Yeah, Chung's asking for a change of hand. It's the first time he's had his guys going down that side.
Yeah, that'll just be to take out any chance of turning Ryan's bowl up and over. Oh, he's far too wide out there. General rule of thumb at Royal Oak is if you get outside the boundary of the rink, you're probably not going to find yourself coming back into it. As you see, the bowl's finished outside the boundary there. Just under the green this time.
Just a touch. Possibly just under the pace he wanted to, just a touch.
Oh, there's trouble personified hiding in the background.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Blucher of the Seattle 2 Bowling Club and fellow Auckland Premier representative with Liam come down to support the boys.
He hasn't had a bad season himself this year, has he, Adam?
Yeah, he probably hasn't quite pipped some of the successes he's had in the past 2 or 3 years, but he's certainly been at the pointy end of all the competitions.
He's another young fellow with a lot of promise in this game. He can go a long way. They managed to avoid the tackle in midfield. That was handy. This could be useful.
Good speed again from Chong. He likes to throw a little bit wider on that backhand going away from the clubhouse. I just wonder if he's getting a little bit more turn than the rest of the players. They're all using dreamlines with the exception of Patrick off the front, the old black bowls. He's trying to chip that bowl out for 2 or 3. There we go. Bit of a fun fact on Chong there. Works as a property developer. Has one of the flashest, shiniest Mercedes. You can always tell when Chong rolls up to any bowling tournament.
Well, he must develop properties quite well because I've seen him at a few midweek tournaments around the place. He loves his bowls.
He's a very keen bowler. I think he's the boss.
He is the boss.
He's very good at delegating.
Yeah, good nut here.
Yeah, that's a great shot of Paul's back.
Yep.
Doesn't look like it's changed the head. Still looks to be one to Patrick's bowl. Oh, the ATB 2000s. Thanks to the magic of high definition cameras. Now they were a bowl that wasn't very popular.
Never used one.
They came out in 2000, as the name would suggest, and the ATB stands for Advanced Buyers Technology. But yeah, they never really took off. They weren't popular.
What do you got here, Liam? I don't think he's happy.
Yeah, no, he's pushed it wide.
So, yeah, first time today the measure tape comes out, I think. Conceded 1. Okay, now we get a shot of the back of Patrick. So our TV savvy young fellas are filling the space. There you go, Davey. Somebody said a word.
That's right. Well, perhaps while Patrick... No, it's not Patrick, it's Paul measuring the shot, isn't it? But perhaps while they measure that shot, we'll take this opportunity to throw a shout out to Shade Systems, obviously the manufacturers of the covered green here at Royal Oak Bowling Club. And pretty exciting time for Bowls Auckland and their new partnership with Shade Systems. We've partnered up to support the growth and assisting clubs in considering installing new canopies. Obviously, it's the way the game is sort of going now. Obviously, there's always going to be a place for natural greens and outdoor surfaces, but in Auckland's unpredictable weather, having a covered green is very important. Great replay there.
Of Paul's back.
Of Paul's back. Yeah, so exciting new partnership with Shade Systems with Bowls Auckland. They're now sponsoring our Chamber Champs series, which is really cool because all of our Chamber Champs in Auckland are played under covered venues. Part of that is strategic alignment, given that Bowls New Zealand play all their national pathways undercover, so it's a great opportunity for our Auckland players to have that experience on their covered surfaces. It is a little bit different to playing outdoors, obviously. So we're really happy to have Shade Systems on board here with Bowls Auckland, sponsoring the entire series, which begins, I think, the second weekend of May and runs right through till the second weekend of June, with a gap in the middle there for our King's birthday. And I believe there's some exciting little promotion that's in the works for supporters and players as well. So do keep an eye out on Bowls Auckland's social media and website for that one. But definitely, if clubs are looking at going down that route, get in touch with the Shade Systems team on their website and have a chat to us at Bowls Auckland as well, because we can certainly facilitate those conversations.
But it's been one of the developments in the years since I started playing, the spread of the covered greens, and they're sort of scattered across Auckland, aren't they? New Lynn was there before I started. Remuera just got done. Royal Oak, Hunters Corner, Papatoetoe is underway.
Yeah, so, well, Hunters Corner is now finished. We're just waiting for the last little bit of funding to be secured so they can replace the green underneath it.
Yep.
And then once that green's replaced, they'll get Tiger Turf in there to replace that green. And then we'll be ready to play. We were hoping to be able to use it this year, but just hasn't quite fallen into place. So I'd like to say, as much as I sat there last year saying we'd like to use it this year, I definitely think by next year we'll be undercover at Papatoetoe.
Yeah, I know Howick are talking about it.
Yeah, Howick are looking into it. They're pretty far along in the planning stage. I've seen some drawings and all the resource consents and all those sorts of things have been in place. So that's probably a project for potentially next summer, I think. They'll look to use their existing carpet green throughout the winter program.
Auckland Bowling Club is another one that's looking at it. They're very keen.
As I understand, Auckland's has sort of been put on the back burner. They were struggling with being in the Auckland domain and getting resource consent through the domain board, but
they're still interested.
It's good that the clubs are having those conversations and looking into it. I think Te Atatu are quite interested as well. Quite a few clubs are looking down that route because it certainly brings a lifeline into the clubs. It allows them to run throughout the winter with certainty as opposed to just being played in the cold.
Yeah.
And the other cool feature that Royal Oak have that none of the others do, they've installed some gas heaters up on the clubhouse end, and I tell you what, once those things get going, it is like a sauna in there. It's brilliant.
It can be chilly down the other end, mind you.
Oh, it can be pretty cold up the other end. So I think the long-term plan is to get some heating up the other end as well. But yeah, they're brilliant facilities. They really are, and the versatility of them from us as a bowling community is just outstanding.
There wouldn't be a player in Auckland who would rather be playing outside this afternoon than undercover.
Yeah, well, you'll probably be able to hear in the background there the ambient noise of the rain starting to pelt down on the roof.
Yeah, and it's forecast to go on for much of the afternoon, so bowls may be a summer game invented by Scots, rather like golf that you play in jackets and woolly jerseys and all the rest of it, but it's much more fun in the sun.
So Chong just looking to get a rest on the shot bowl. May have stopped in time for second though.
He may. I think Davy's front bowl is probably the closest for the Auckland Bowling Club at the moment.
Yeah, I wonder if Liam's trying to play a little trail shot here underneath Davies on the forehand. Sit the black and yellow bowl or bring the jack through. It's sort of that weight back to Ryan and David on the back right of screen as we see.
So 2 ends ago coming this way, Chong played a real money shot that got him out of all sorts of trouble. And he's thrown a couple of tidy little bowls in there. One, if the jack gets chipped sideways, he's there or thereabouts. Covering his options. Not really conservative. He's challenging as a guy to play against. Good bowl here.
Oh, this is a great bowl from Liam.
Yeah, no problem at all with deciding that end.
So 1-2, Auckland Bowling Club brings the scores level again.
Yeah, well, we've had 2-2, 4-4, 5-5.
So as the jack's thrown up, we watch this replay of Liam's final bowl. We'll just touch on the route to the final for the boys. So obviously qualifying, they played Neil Fisher, Brian Chapman and Les Brown of the Howick Bowling Club, and of course Neil's playing on the rink next door in the singles. 18-16, that one came down to the wire. I caught the end of that game at Mount Eden the other week. Great game. They then went on to defeat the St Heliers side, skipped by Richard Kempthorne, 19-6. And then this morning they played the very formidable Mike Galloway, Martin Dixon and Steve Fisher. And they won that semi-final 21-13. So very good score considering the calibre of the two teams and the fact that Royal Oak were playing on arguably a bit of a home advantage this morning.
You take that result against Galloway, Dixon and Fisher any day of the week, wouldn't you? 21-13 is decisive against those guys.
Definitely, and you know, the amount of practice that Marty's had on the surface now that he's a professional midweek bowler. I'll be clipping that and sending it to him later. You know, you would really back those boys to win. They're a very formidable side, a lot of success.
Thrown the jack out to the 2 metre, which is the first time it's been down there today. This will be interesting because they haven't had a full length end, and this is pretty close. It's not quite full length, but it's close. But it's the first time they've had the jack way back in the outer suburbs. So they've been finding their range and their green to a degree. There we are. So at the moment there's plenty of room for somebody to get in there and stake a territorial claim.
Oh, actually, I forgot to mention there was a match before that. So the first match that Liam and Davey played in the round of 32 was actually against Adam Lucha.
Good nut here, Ryan. That might, oh no, just run out of gas.
Yeah, so the young boys defeated Adam Blucher, his old man Peter, and Brendan Cully of the Te Bowling Club 24-10 in the round of 32.
Well, that's not a bad combination to knock over by a score like that either.
Yeah, and again, that was another game where I think the contrasting styles come in. So whilst we talk about these young boys probably being the more aggressors on this matchup, Adam Blucher obviously is the constant aggressor.
Yeah.
So the approach from Liam's side was just to sort of put shots on the head, let Adam attack, and as we see time and time again, when you start to miss attacking shots in a 2-bowl triples game, you inevitably sort of start falling behind, and that was the case there. And
yeah, if you're 4 down and you miss your attacking shot, you're still 4 down.
You're still 4 down, yeah. And it's so different to, you know, you think about 6-bowl pairs can be quite aggressive, but 6-bowl triples is a very different game. And the sort of shots you get away with in a 4s match where you've got those 2 extra bowls, you just don't have the same forgiveness in a triples game. Whereas a 3-bowl or 9-bowl triples, depending on how you call it, very aggressive game, you can afford to just about smack whatever you like.
Yeah, this is, okay, you talk about turning points in this game, and we're not there yet because Chung's still got 2 bowls sitting there behind the mat. But at the moment, he hasn't got a great deal to work with. He is virtually forced to dead draw the jack here because he's got 3 in that little cluster at 1 o'clock as we're looking at it. There's 1 back down here at 7 o'clock, which is just about in the ditch. And he hasn't got anything within Kui, really. So his options, his hands are pretty much tied, aren't they?
Yeah, the head looks fairly open, but there's a certain pressure about being 3 down and potentially 4 down if Liam can get this one in as well. It doesn't have to be close. As long as it's counting, it's going to add the pressure. We see the camera's going to pan down quite nicely for us. It looks like he's going to go in the ditch.
I don't see anybody rushing to pick it up, so...
No, don't quite have the pan to get down there. Let's see if we can grab a different angle. So this is the one from Chong. Really wants to be somewhere within the head with this bowl.
I think he's going through it.
Wow, that's hard to correct from. At least if he was 2nd or 3rd shot, he gave himself a chance to correct.
And he did go in the drink with that one.
Yeah,
so
we did just catch someone picking
that
one up.
That one's out of play. This one looks as if it might have a bit of promise, actually.
Yeah, that'll be 4th shot.
And he pushes one of his others just that little bit closer. You won't get much from his expression. It never changes very much.
No. Well, he might sneak in for fourth.
He's at least 3 light.
Definitely 3 light though. It's Aggie Motu shouting in the background. Women's triples semi-final.
Well, they haven't decided
Currently-
on the 4th one yet, have they?
Currently trailing actually the Auckland Bowling Club women's triple side to Leslie McClendon's Royal Oak trio. We'll see if we can get some updates from the other ranks around the green for you shortly.
How long ago was it? Last year, the year before, Leslie and Aggie played in the same team that actually won a national champs title.
Yeah, no, that was the peer. That was in the peers.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at this measure.
Lisa won the singles that year as well.
What have we
Oh,
got?
sorry, runner-up
Missed it.
national singles that year. Sorry.
Yes. Sorry, I'm not. We didn't quite catch what the result of that measure was.
But we've got the replay of Liam's final bowl. Just coming down into the head with nice weight. And you'll think that Auckland will want to throw that long jack again. Try and catch Carlton Cornwall with their pants down a little
9-5,
bit.
I heard. So they've picked up 4 shots. That's the first break we've had in the game. First end that scored more than 2.
Yeah, we'll definitely expect to see a longer end again, I would think, from the Auckland side. Oh,
No, there's discussion
there's
going
a
on
bit of
out there.
discussion. Yeah, there was 3 shots and they were measuring for 4.
Yep.
Just throw the jack, baby, and do your job, and let Ryan and Liam discuss the score.
Ryan doesn't miss a whole lot, actually. He's one of these guys who concentrates pretty hard on how his team is getting on. He's not somebody, and he never has been from the first time I ever saw him play. He's never been somebody you could sort of push into anything. He stands his ground when he knows he's right, and more power to his elbow.
Yeah.
This isn't a bad start. Again, fairly long jack.
Yeah, well,
He's in behind it.
It definitely worked for them last time, didn't it?
Yeah.
You just need to change it up just enough to try and catch Carlton napping, but you don't want to stay there too long so that they get comfortable. Going to assume that it's on the 2 metre mark there at Davies Bowl, so it's not quite a full length jack.
Yeah, I think those spots that you see on the green, I suspect maybe from 3-5 competitions that they may run at Royal Oak.
Nah, those white dots going across the screen will be for the social bowlers playing the other way.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
if you look really closely,
yeah,
you
there's
can
more
see
further up. Yeah.
the seam is there as well, so that's the other direction of play.
Yeah. Okay.
Under the green again. So
Yeah, he's sort of gone off the boil in the last couple of events, Patrick, and he's
struggling with a longer length, obviously.
yeah, and he's a guy who can set the tone when he's playing well. He will have bowls all over the jack, but they're not there at the moment, and he's allowing Davey to get in there with close enough is good enough for an early shot, which he's not forcing him to actually be deadly accurate. And pressure goes on the number 2, and so Paul's got a bit of work to be done here.
Yeah, definitely.
Pulls up short, so that's not great either. It's very easy from here, but when you're playing, you're sitting there muttering under your breath if you're dropping them a metre or a metre and a half short of the jack. You know you don't want to be there. Though this one might make a tackle.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed in that. He took his green, tried to get around it. He looked to be on a pretty good line, but just turned in a little bit sharp.
Yeah, possibly just a tad of pace missing.
See again that
This one could get caught up in the short
wide
ones,
line.
couldn't
Yeah,
it?
it does look like it's turning into that pack. Sorry. Well, he's getting there eventually. I tell you what, it could be an outside chance for shot. Actually, he certainly planted it square.
I thought I caught a little soft signal from Davey there, one down, but Liam's just left ahead, so he'll know what he's looking at.
Ryan's very good at not giving anything away.
Yeah.
He'll have a look, and he doesn't sort of signal. Most people will naturally signal, but he's very good at not giving anything away. Well, a lot of focus there from Liam. He's watching it.
Gets around the outside. He might be somewhere pretty handy.
He's not a bad effort. I think now he's sort of going to have to look to remove that bowl. He's got 2 seconds to it, so he's got a couple of options. And this is kind of the stage in the game where, having picked up a 4, you want to score again, double down, make it count. Puts that pressure on to the Carlton side.
This looks as if it may be useful as well.
Tell you what, he got half a slide. Yep, and you hear there, look to sit that bowl through. I think they'll be playing underneath the 2 blacks on Liam's forehand. Yeah.
Yeah. That's Davey's voice you can hear.
I don't know about running it. I think it's a very, very purposeful weighted shot, I would say. Yeah, no, I like that speed, actually. It's a very good speed. Can be tricky playing these sorts of weights on this surface, of course, because that tends to happen when the bowl just cuts away. But he gave that a pretty fair effort.
It's not really what you call a draw or drive rink, though, is it? You don't have to be going either full noise or draw weight.
No,
you can play weighted shots.
Yeah, some greens, as you say, definitely draw drive. This one, it's very hard to play a yard on, but certainly those sort of what I'd call a 3 to 5 yard shot, you can get away with them on that tighter line. But yeah, as you see, if you don't quite get the line right, you do tend to be punished, as we saw just there. So it wasn't that he played a terrible bowl. He probably only missed by, say, a couple of inches either side.
Yeah, and that might have been down to just a metre of weight. Fairly easy count here.
Yep, so
one to Carlton Cornwall.
1 to Carlton Cornwall. And a replay there of Chong's bowl.
Knowing Chong, he'd be a bit disappointed he didn't get this flush because he's...
Yeah, he just needed probably another millimetre more of Ryan's front bowl, and it would have slowed him down into count.
That was it, because he did just get the clip there.
Yeah. So 9-6 to the Auckland Bowling Club side after 10 ends completed. 8 to go. Still plenty of opportunity for Carlton Cornwall.
Shortened it up again, back to what they were playing before. The mat is still quite a long way back, but the jack is well up off the tee. So.
And I mean, from that starting bowl, you can tell that Patrick's a lot more comfortable at that length.
Yeah.
He hasn't nailed it, granted, but he's a lot more comfortable at that length.
Yeah, it's almost just default setting. If he's allowed to do it, he'll play there all day.
The problem is Davey's very comfortable at that length as well. You almost wonder for the Carlton team, do they need to change it up and go really short? But the only problem with that is the young guys practice short ends quite a lot. It's just a default thing that younger people seem to do.
Well,
very strong on the short ends.
it was a lesson that was drummed into me not long after I started. You're not a bowler until you can play short ends. And the guy who told me said you can do very well out of it. You can pick up a lot of points in a hurry if you can do it properly.
Yeah.
It's something which, as you say, is practiced a lot, because that's where your 3s and 4s might start coming into the game.
Definitely. And I guess, you know, to use the term young person mentality again, it's all about being able to make those conversion shots easier. You know, the shorter the distance, the less the bowl's going to turn, the easier it is to take bowls out of the head.
Yeah.
So I took a bit of a alternative approach, I guess, when I was playing singles a lot with secondary school levels and things like that at a national secondary schools level. I tend to play 2-2 because you'd see these guys that would just throw short jacks all the time, and for me that was fine. I practiced it. But if you could get them long and they struggled, you knew you were in. They might fluke the odd one, but more often than not, you could score consistently playing what most young people would call a meat pack end. But, you know, being able to play all lengths is very critical.
As you get older, of course, throwing the jack 2-2 becomes
it becomes a
problem.
lot harder, yeah.
You see some people who don't like doing that.
I mean, they have a foot wedge in golf, and I think it exists in bowls too, where you just throw the jack and the skip just gives it the old courtesy kick. Straightens it up regardless of where it finishes.
Yeah. While we've been discussing the techniques of short end versus long end, they're sort of not quite getting them in around the jack at this point. Carlton would be holding a couple of shots, but you'd back anybody in this game to be able to get inside that.
Yeah, good track here from Ryan. Just looks to be going a little bit quick. If he can get to the back of Patrick's bowl, he's just run past. Great line. Really good line. Bit of space there for the skips. We'll see if we can get some updates from the other rinks just as the players cross over as well. And we'll bring those to you shortly.
Well, the singles next door had tightened up considerably. It looked like one-way traffic, but the score, whoever was leading, has seen their lead narrow from 14-2 to something significantly less than that. I think you said it was your man.
Yeah, Cameron. Yeah.
He's doing the catching up, I think.
Yeah. So if it's got the legs, this is a pretty good looking bowl from Chong. Just going to pull up.
Yeah. I'm not sure what Liam saw when he left the head, whether he saw 2 down or 1 down. It's sort of hard when the bowls are 90 degrees apart from each other.
Oh, look, he's got plenty of space.
And I think he's going to use just as much as he needs.
Yeah, that's a really great shot from the youngster, Liam Hill. Going to turtle over. Well, opportunity for Chong to sit that one out too. He's got another bowl of Patrick's out to the right of screen as we see. He's got Ryan to work off just under the scoreboard there. So there's a few options for him on the forehand, which he is lining up for.
A little bit of weight, so he's not looking to draw.
Wow, he's undergreened that one.
Yeah.
Don't mind the speed.
It was an unusual shot for him to play, I thought. But
Yeah, well,
he's the guy making the decisions.
I'd like to. Well, I mean, you know, that sort of shot selection was good. It gives him a chance. He didn't
I think
execute
Liam
it
quite liked
particularly
this
well.
one too, actually.
Yeah, the boys are, their TV experience is lacking a little bit just now, but he's just run through. So it'll be 1 to Auckland.
One to Auckland. Yeah, I thought I heard that from Ryan.
Pretty clear one. And I've got this replay of Liam with his first bowl, drawing the winning shot. Just beautiful line, just flirting with the boundary of the rink. Coming in with really good weight.
For a guy who's still at school, actually, Liam's got an awful lot of experience at the top end of bowls. He has won a national title already in open competition, Club Sevens, Club Sevens.
Yep.
And he is a serious contributor in teams full of good players.
Oh, yes.
He's definitely not somebody they carry for experience. They put him in the team because he can get the job done.
Yeah,
in good style.
Generally tends to play a little bit further down, actually. He's a very good lead in too. But certainly this season he's found a little bit of a niche up at the top, playing with the young boys. And obviously you want to play with who you enjoy with, as well as playing with good players.
Yeah.
And I guess they're fortunate enough that they're all at a pretty competitive level, playing good bowls. And Liam's been given the skipping duties. To be fair, any of them could play in any order, really.
Yeah, I think Ryan is happier up the front. I don't think Ryan's really that keen on skipping at the moment. He's found something that he's good at and he does well, so he's just settled in.
Yeah.
I've seen Davey skipping some pretty good players, far more experienced than himself, and making a very good fist of it.
Yeah.
So what's John saying here? The fact that I didn't see any signals suggests that he thinks he's one down.
Yeah. I mean, at the risk of making it all about me, it's quite reminiscent, I think, of my sort of upcoming with Gate Par. We had a good group of youngsters, and once we got to that certain level, we kind of just said to the older guys, look, hey, we just want to go and play our own game and have fun, and we can be competitive. Okay, yeah, sure, we could probably play at a slightly higher level if we split up and you know, paired up with some more experienced players, but, you know, as long as we're competitive and having fun, that's what matters. So we're going to play with our mates, or in this case, you know, cousins, family, whatever, but, you know, they're proving themselves. You know, this tournament, the back of that Mount Albert fours, they're proving to be a worthy combination.
Here from Ryan.
Great shot from Ryan. Just misses the touch, but touches don't win games. That's quite important to remember too.
It's an interesting dynamic in the Auckland Bowling Club group, because at some stage they're going to become rivals.
Oh, of course, yes.
And they get on pretty well together. I guess being of a similar age tends to throw them in together a bit, but at some stage they are going to become rivals for higher honours, because it may be there's only room for two in an Auckland team or going further in New Zealand squad.
Yeah.
And so they actually are going to have to get a bit cutthroat with each other at some stage. I'd be very surprised if it doesn't happen. And I don't think they'll have too much trouble doing it.
Oh, that's
Well,
a great
that's
shot.
not a
You got
bad
the
little
touch
bowl
this
there.
time.
That has done a good job.
Yeah, well, that's almost going to force their hand. I think that, yeah, he'll be you need very good weight to get around that black bowl to draw the shot.
Almost got to use the inside of the wing bowl.
You've almost got to play for the black bowl. You come underneath the black and sit Davies brownie bowl underneath the line.
That's hard to get at, isn't it? It's going to take a very good bowl to stop another count happening here.
Yeah,
They just hit it. And the short bowls in front of it prevent really a weighted shot. You'd have to be pretty good to thread that needle there.
Well, I think for Liam here, he's just trying to beat this wing bowl, which looks to be a bowl or two low.
He's done it.
He's done it very. Look at that. That's a great shot.
A little cushion. That's about the only thing John will be seeing there is the little cushion is now 2 bowls wide instead of 1. But
Yeah, if you were really nitpicky, you could say Liam's given Chong a bit of a bench to sit on, but still very hard to get at with that black bowl in the way. This is close.
well,
That's a
look at
great
that.
shot.
What a
That's
good
a
shot
top
that is.
bowl.
I think he might have missed what he was aiming at, but he got the result.
To be fair, I don't think he was aiming at any one shot in particular. I think he was just trying to get the bowl in the area because there were results available, and he's done it.
That has possibly saved the game, because another 4 or 5 here and they were starting to stare down a pretty big hole.
Yeah, definitely. You can see Liam there. He's got the crouch on. He's looking for a gap. Potentially, he's underneath. Oh no, that's Paul's bowl up front, isn't it? Both of those are Paul's.
Yeah.
Potentially, he looks through that gap to try and get the jack. He is on the backhand.
Yeah, well, that was a 5-shot swing in one bowl, which when they were staring down the potential of an 8-shot deficit.
He is looking for that hole. He's just going to bite. And what he doesn't want to do is push that black bowl up.
Like that.
Uh-oh. Ooh, I think Ryan's bowl there on the right at 6 o'clock is still second shot.
I suspect it is.
Holding one.
There you go.
Well, a lot more room for Chong now to draw in underneath the port that Liam's bowl's just created. Yep, there we go.
Don't want to get a wee snip on it.
Yeah, well, the danger is playing too much weight. I think you just sort of draw relatively conservatively.
A weak coward's bowl, if it doesn't reach,
a coward's draw. He's already played the shot of the match, so he doesn't need to be too much of a hero.
Tell you what,
he's
he
close.
doesn't want to get the outside edge of this jack.
That's a very aggressive draw.
Oh, isn't it just? Got away with it.
One to Carlton.
One to Carlton.
Then we see the replay of Chong's little, well, I don't know, do you call it a run shot? I guess it's just that yard through.
I think it might have been addressed to whom it may concern, but
Yeah.
it found the billet, didn't it?
I tell you what, he was right on the money for the jack even. You know, he just nailed it.
He everything he was going to hit was enemy bowls.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
he wasn't going to harm himself. He wasn't going to take anything of his own out of there, anything like that.
Yeah. All right, well, in the early stages of this end, we promised it a couple of ends ago, and we'll finally get to it. So a quick rundown across some of the other matches being played this afternoon. Obviously, next door we have Neil Fisher of the Howick Bowling Club playing Cameron Higgins of Glen Eden, and Neil Fisher leading that game 18 shots to 7. Cameron making a bit of a comeback, but he is running out of time as Neil closes in on the race to 21. Leslie McClendon, Janine Young and Claire Tawaru are playing Aggie Motu, Lisa Prideaux and Kimberly Hemingway. 5-10. Aggie Motu leads that match after 10 of 18 ends. The other women's semi-final, the St Heliers side of Jane Field, Julie Kevin and Donna Davidson, currently training Jamie Waimoana and Rachel of Onehunga and Districts. The score there 12-8 after 7. And in the other men's semi-final, Matt Berry, our national singles champion, looking to double down with the centre title, is leading Blockhouse Bay's Alan Blackman 16-12. Oh yeah, wrong bias. We caught that on camera. Some sarcastic applause in the background. So very close there in that second men's singles semi-final. Both Matt and Alan very steady draw bowlers. I think as are all of our men's singles semi-finalists today, to be fair. They're all kind of that more composed style.
Given how Matt won the Nationals.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course.
Oh, he played so well in the Nationals.
And true to fashion, he lost his first game in section play of this tournament too. So he likes a good comeback story, does Matt?
Yeah. But once he gets into the rhythm, he really is the drummer. He just sits there pounding out the rhythm.
Yeah, for sure. And been having a few conversations with him lately, obviously. His campaign leading up to the World Championship singles final and his preparation and getting himself organised. And I know this event is one of the ones on his, what would you call it, like planning stage. Obviously wanting to perform quite well here, putting himself into competitive situations in singles play, which is very rare in New Zealand. There's not a lot of singles competitions these days, as we see Paul put the third shot in.
Yep.
Bit of a loose head from the Auckland boys.
It is. Just thinking that they've got a lot of room to work into, but nothing's actually getting in there. think Liam would be quite happy if this was second shot. It might be better. It might be better. Not quite.
Yeah, it's hard to say from the elevated angle. It's not the shot, but potentially second or third.
Yeah, well, Liam, I think, would have liked to have a second one in there, but what you like and what you've got can be two very different things. Just thinking it, we're 2/3 of the way through the game now. We've done 12 ends, and that's funny. The guy who's probably the most influential in the game is on the losing team at the moment.
Yeah.
But Chong has saved them from some nasty situations where they could have dropped a bundle.
Oh no! Oh no!
Didn't hit it hard enough to do any damage. But
that was a scary moment.
Yeah,
I think he might have just got away with it.
Yeah, but I can think of two shots that he played which saved them. They were 5-shot turnarounds.
Yeah,
both
definitely.
Of them. So,
yep.
yeah, as I say, it's an unusual thing where your most influential player is not on the team that's ahead, but he's certainly kept his charges in there, and he's doing a pretty good job here too. He'll be dead keen to pack another one in. Yeah, they're suggesting promoting the Black Bowl of Patrick's.
Peter Blucher, see sitting there in the background with his West Bowls cap on. He's one of the selectors.
Which one's
for
he got
the
here? Which one's he got here?
Team.
He's
Oh, he
got the
doesn't want
wrong
that
one.
one. Oh, it fell back again, but it did slide forward.
It's been given a nudge, so it's probably not the shot.
Well, Liam's got opportunities to play that same kind of bowl now.
Yeah. Well, he's also got Davies' bowl at
Well, he's got weight for the jack at the moment.
12 o'clock.
Take
He's just
the
going
jack
to slide
clean.
under.
Well,
He got
he's
it.
got
He
one.
got it.
Probably, no, just one. And that's that little moment of opportunity that the boys will take and run with.
Yep. Oh, yeah, you'd grab that one and go. That's the sort of thing Liam can do. Although, we're just having another look, but this is the sort of shot he can play because he's got no fear. And if it goes wrong, it goes wrong. The sun's going to come up tomorrow.
You know, to be fair, percentages galore, because if we're assuming that this bowl in front here is the shot, it wasn't going to hurt to hit it.
Correct.
He potentially had 2 seconds with David's bowl and Ryan's bowl out at 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it was a really good percentage shot there from Liam. Didn't overplay it.
Yeah. But he's not scared to have a dart. That's the thing. He's not going to look at a shot and think, oh, what could go wrong?
Yeah, and this is a really good start from Davey.
That's not how his mind works. It's what can go right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Now the squeeze goes on with Davies' first bowl sitting very handy to the jack. Be a face challenge, isn't it? Can you do better?
There we go. Confirmation. 11-7 after 11 ends played.
13 ends. I've got 13 on my little score chart.
I've missed an end on my score chart. Sorry, team.
Two good bowls, two very good bowls. After you've just picked up a little saver for one, pop one on and one just behind. That's what a leader's asked to do in a perfect world.
Yeah, a little bit wider this time, but you know what? If he holds on to the back of the green, not the worst option considering Davies' bowls. No, he's gone.
History, I think. That'll be interesting to see what Liam's asking Ryan for here. Because they've threatened a couple of times to break it right open coming this way. And Chong has been asked to play some
Large.
serious bowls.
Large applause in the background there. Looked like coming from the Auckland Royal Oak Women's Triples final.
Looks like it's 10 all over there.
Yeah, it's closed up.
Okay, so Carlton Cornwall still missing.
Yeah, Ryan's in a really good spot with his first bowl there too. He's just got to get around that shorter bowl of Patrick's.
He's done that, no problem.
Yeah, this is another really good bowl from Ryan, and he'll come into count this time too. If he's not already, to be honest.
But they're putting the squeeze on again, aren't they? There's going to have to be some good bowls played by Carlton to get out of a potentially unpleasant count.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you look back at the moment, you could just about say that, I mean, the match is being won currently by the boys off the front of the Auckland team.
Yeah.
They've definitely had the more consistent draw bowls over Patrick and Paul.
And, well, the temptation is to think, well, John can't do that again. The truth is that he probably can. He's pretty good at it. So you don't want to give the guy too much room, but you do want to have him playing savers as often as you can. If he saves it and gets one, he saves it and gets one. If he can't save it, that's where the 4 came in on the ninth end, and that's the difference in the game at the moment, that one end, the 4 shots.
Yeah, definitely. It's very discouraging as a skip too, seeing your boys all over the show, as they are at the moment, especially when Liam comes up and puts another one in like that. You know, the nearest teammates bowl for Chong is probably that black one up in front, which is well over a metre short.
Almost a different postcode at this level.
And it can be so tempting when the opposition are just dropping them on like that to be aggressive, but you've got to get bowls into the head.
Tell you what, this isn't the worst.
Yeah, he needs to find a friend.
He's got something.
Well, he's gone from probably 4 down to 2 down.
It's an improvement.
Definitely an improvement.
Get the impression that Liam might like this.
It's not a bad effort. Probably just a little under the line. Similar sort of shot, perhaps, on the backhand, underneath his previous bowl. Trying to sit Ryan's bowl at 12 o'clock to the jack as we see it now. Yeah, it sort of looks like what he's aiming for. As we see in the background of that singles semi-final, 19-12, and Cameron drawing another shot. So
it's an unusual approach to this head, coming down the populated side.
no, I like that shot. He's just played it a little bit too wide.
Yeah, oh well.
2 to Auckland. And this will be the replay of Chong's bowl. Well, director's not got any lunch either. Great result from Chong, really, to go probably 5 down to 2 down.
5 down to 2 down. He can live with that.
You can take that as a good result.
Well, what he's done today is probably
He's
saved
easily
his
saved.
team 13 to 15 shots,
Yeah,
no
definitely.
problem.
And this is what's been key for Auckland. Davies been
Yeah.
so good with that first bowl.
Yeah, he's really starting to play as all those in Auckland know he can. Well, he had that good result in the PBA, didn't he? And he finished up going off to the Scottish singles, where his first opponent was the world number one.
World number ranked.
And he wasn't disgraced in that by any stretch. So
No.
the man can play.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a love-hate relationship with bowls over the last couple of years, as he's obviously still in school trying to focus on his studies. That was close. He almost threw a wrong bias then. You know, so he's sort of been in and out of the game a little bit, focusing on his studies, trying to think about his career, which, you know, as any sort of well put together teenager should be. But yeah, obviously still very dedicated to his sport. great family culture and sport as well, obviously. Those of you who don't know, his mother's obviously Mia Motu, who's a two-time double champion now, I think she is, in boxing.
Well, she's certainly a champion.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know
certainly a
how
champion.
many.
Yeah, so that kind of work ethic and sport very much runs in the family.
He's a talented young guy, and I played a bit against him over the years, and he's always been absolutely in control of himself, even when he was young. People would try and get into him and think they could push him around and bully him because he was 12 years old or whatever. You're wasting your time. It'd go in one ear and out the other, and he'd just look at you and he wouldn't say anything, and he'd do exactly what you didn't want him to do. So his headspace is always really very good. He's a quality player and he's a quality guy. I've got a lot of time for him.
Oh, so we were just talking about how close that match was at 16-12 for Matt Berry and Alan Blackman. And as I look at a little update screen, 21-12, Matt Berry over Alan Blackman.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the sort of thing Matt can do. He's a very, very dangerous opponent. When he starts putting it together, you just got to try and stay with him. Not easy.
Paul there just looking for a bit of an edge off Davies' bowl, or trying to turn up Patrick's. And doesn't quite get enough of it and runs through.
Ryan doesn't want a full contact on the black bowl though.
Promoting his own's not bad. He's built a wall.
Yeah.
Not the worst result.
Yeah. But the Auckland guys have sort of taken control over the last 6 ends. They've scored 8 points to 2, and in a game that was neck and neck, 8 points to 2 is a fairly big step towards a victory, isn't it?
Yeah, and we're starting to get into those, what do you call them, the twilight stages, I suppose, where you got 3 ends, or was it 4 ends? Four ends to go. Including this one. So, you know, scoring opportunities now, you're starting to do that math in your head. You know, you've got, 6 shots and 5 ends to do it in. So you're starting to think about it a little bit now as we see the graphic.
The last time Carlton scored more than 1 was actually the 6th end, so they've been shut out of they haven't been getting big numbers. That's the challenge, isn't it? They've got to find big numbers where they haven't been getting them.
Yeah, exactly. So we see the graphic up there on screen. Pringle Park, that's Matt Berry in the men's singles, has won that match 21-12 in just 17 ends over Alan Blackman. Onehunga and Districts, that is the Jamie Delaney skipped side, is leading the Jane Field skipped St Heliers side. And the Auckland triples, Aggie Motu, Lisa Prideaux and Kimberly Hemingway leading the Royal Oak home side 10-5.
I thought I saw 10-10 after 12 ends on the scoreboard because it's on the next ring to the one we're watching.
That would probably be 10 ends, 10 shots, I would think.
No, I think it was 10-12-10.
Oh,
have a look next time we catch it. But anyway, that's just what I thought I saw. Eyes might be painted onto my head. Don't worry about that.
And I guess the big storyline next door, you catch a glimpse of it in the background. 1912, Cameron Higgins of the Gleneagles Club making a comeback on the veteran Neil Fisher. But Neil getting very, very close. You see, well, actually, look at that. You can see he's holding 3 shots there in the background. So he's got the match in his hand. Cameron 1 bowl left to play. So a big bowl coming next door to determine the finalists for the men's singles, as we see Chong looking for the wick off the bowl. So probably 2 to the Auckland side. They're not measuring.
Yeah. Suspect that was another 2. I didn't see a signal.
And a replay of Liam's first bowl. Great shot there, drawing around Ryan's bowl to count. Yeah, you can see in the background they're 11-10.
11-10,
So
I thought I'd seen that.
Royal Oak have actually come back and taken the lead in that one.
I think we had 2 here. Yeah, those graphics can be a bit hard when it's spread over half a dozen rinks, though, because your information, all you have to do is be one bowl late, and the score can change by a whole lot at the end of an end. But,
Yeah.
As I say, I think we had a 2 on this one. I didn't see a signal, but I suspect the score is currently 15-7 after 15. It looked like it on the play. And Davy's first bowl again is not far away.
So some smattered applause, and you see Davey just reset. I'm going to assume that Neil Fisher has taken the win on rink 2. He was holding 3 with one last bowl of Cameron's to play.
Davy's starting to make this difficult, isn't he? You're not going to get big numbers against the Auckland combination if their lead is putting stuff like that in there right from the get-go.
No. Much better line from Patrick. Looks a little bit heavy. Finishing in a good spot. They just need to, I think Patrick and Paul here for Carlton just need to put a good head together to allow Chong the opportunity to score. Perhaps not worry so much about drawing the shot with their first bowls, but just putting them all, you know, a foot behind the head in a position where someone can come along and trail the jack and make a number. Because if they're going to start nailing the jack, the boys are just going to start driving. They're in the, they're in the front seat. They can be aggressive.
Yeah.
They don't need to necessarily score. They just need to prevent the count.
Well, but they're getting Wrigley numbers. They got a 4 on the 9th. They got a 2 on the 14th. They got a 2 on the 15th. Carlton has had 3 1s in the last 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 ends. So any one of those multiples is extending the lead and making it harder and harder and harder for Carlton to get back into the game. Yeah,
the stats are definitely not in their favour. They need to just about do something that sort of unpredictable.
Well, they need a 5 somewhere, and that's a big ask at this sort of level.
Yeah.
To get back into this game, they need a big count on this end. And the bowls are spread, and you struggle to see where it's going to come, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah, you almost wonder if it gets to shake hands time, if Auckland can score a number here. Well,
he's got a couple
look,
here.
They've probably, they might have made 2 out of that.
It's the closest thing they've had to a potential multi-count for at least an hour, I would say. What's Liam got here?
Well, nothing with this one. He's going to pull up very short. He'll be disappointed with that bowl. He's ideally trying to reach these 2 bowls in the bottom of screen.
Yeah.
So, really loose bowl from Liam Hill.
There haven't been too many of those, to be fair to him.
No, probably a bit of a rarity in the game.
But again, you can see he's still pretty chilled about it. There's
Yeah.
just, he doesn't hold himself back with inhibitions.
Look, and I think at this point of the game, not that you're going to write your opponents off, but I think the boys would be sitting in a pretty comfortable mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that they've just got to bring it home.
Well, even if they drop a 2 here, they still have a 6-shot advantage with 2 to play.
Exactly, and you know, it'll be a really big telling moment for these boys. They cop a lot of criticism for being aggressive and for not having their heads screwed on and needing to learn to play the game, and that's a great result.
He's got it.
What a result. Chong is really now looking to play that exact same bowl, sit and replace for 3. It's the only option he's got. It's almost game over, really, if he misses.
Becomes extraordinarily difficult.
I'll tell you what,
He's
he's
not
on a
far
good
away.
track. He's going to get the jack. He's killed it. No.
Maybe.
Bit of an overzealous zoom.
If he hasn't killed it, he's down 1.
Yeah, worst case, he's down 1. Touch is not going to be in play in the ditch. It's definitely in, unless the camera angle's tricking my mind, but
It looks like it's inside those spots, doesn't it?
I'm suggesting that Liam's bowl there is still the shot.
So yeah, that's what I think too. Yep, that's what it looks like.
Yep, Davies picked up the mat and is walking out. So 1 to the Auckland side, 16-7.
Yep. 2 ends to play, so that's a lead of 9 with 12 shots on the table.
Yeah, it's big ask.
But the Auckland has just done it really well. Since the 8th end, they picked up 1. The 9th end, they got a 4. They dropped 1 on the 10th, got it back on the 11th, dropped 1 on the 12th, got it back on the 13th, and since then they've gone 2-2-1. And that's just pressure. They've just kept putting the pressure on, kept putting the bowls where they needed to be. Just quality play. And Davy's been leading well. Ryan's just been steady there. He hasn't played any super memorable shots, but he's played an awful lot of bowls that have helped the cause and settled any worries Liam may have had down. Ryan's just been covering them, so if they drop a count, they drop 1.
Yeah,
You can live with that all day. And each of these guys has played his part. Liam's played a couple of really good conversions. He's also played some good Adionis. And each of the 3 has done the job that he was supposed to do. So they can be pretty happy with how they've gone about achieving the result they're going to have in about 10 minutes' time.
yeah, good weight in the area there. To be fair, I think this is probably the last end of the match. Carlton are going to need, what did you say, 9?
Well, they
So
need 9 and 2 ends, so
really
they need a 5.
Anything less than a 4 is, they're not going to play on here. So just good positional bowls from Auckland required to stop that count.
Yeah.
And that's probably not the greatest of bowls there.
I mean, 1 will go on the 2 metre at some stage, I'd imagine, just to stop.
Yeah, they're not that they're playing respot, but it does just take that aggression out of their mind a little bit when you've got bowls spread across the head.
Yeah.
And the Auckland boys will know that they don't need to score here. So they're not going to be too worried about.
Well, Chung suggested that he's holding 1 at the moment, which is...
Yeah, no reason for panic for Auckland, though.
Well, no, because you've got to send down 3 or 4 pretty good ones to get inside that bowl of Ryan's. That's not that far away.
Yeah.
Good, steady stuff, basically. And that's what he's been doing. He's just been playing good, steady bowls, putting them in advantageous positions. Here he comes again, this time on the other side of the jack. Not one of the world's great bowls, but nothing wrong with it.
Probably just a little heavy. Although in saying that, if he slips underneath Davies' bowl, there's a good little triangle there for Chong to potentially trail the jack and make 3 or 4.
He hasn't had too many looks like that, has he? There hasn't been a little triangle there for him very often during this match.
No, I think that's where Ryan's been quite good at splitting up those little opportunities, whether intentional or not. Massive thanks, of course, to Taylor Bowls New Zealand, one of the primary sponsors of Bowls Auckland, Neelish and his team.
Good rock there. Breaks the little triangle up, doesn't it?
Yeah, and those bowls we're talking about from Ryan, just breaking up his opportunities. Now it makes it a whole lot harder for Chong to be scoring numbers.
Well, if the jack comes back between the two bowls there, he's got that bowl of Liam's to contend with now, so precision becomes everything. It's just becoming harder and harder.
Yeah, and that's a bit of a nothing bowl from Chong. That's probably, I don't want to say that's cost him the game, but
No.
certainly hasn't helped him winning it.
Well, I think he was.
That's
I think,
yeah.
I think Liam was having a bit of fun. He had a big grin on his face when he let that one go.
Like he took one of their bowls out of the head, but it is looking like the champions for the 2024-2025 season will be the young boys from the Auckland Bowling Club, and Chong here just drawing the shot, I guess just for pride at this point. Going to slip through.
Looks like he's got a couple.
Yeah, hard to
Job
say.
done.
Looks like it could have been 2 there. We'll get the official result, of course, a little bit later on, once the players have shaken hands, and
Which they have done.
we've got it all in. Very shortly, we'll go ringside and get some comments from the young boys. But for now, Paul, you know, it's been a game where Auckland have kind of always just had their noses in front.
Yeah, they have, and it started off evenly. If you remember back to the early days, Carlton got a couple of shots, Auckland got 2 back, then it got to 4 all, and then it was 5 all. At 8 hands, there was nothing in it. But it all turned around on the 9th when there was that 4. And for the first time, really, Chong didn't get his saver, and on the 6th end, they'd played a great wee run shot to go from 5 down to 2 up. On the 12th end again, he had a big saver, 4 down to 1 up. But on the 9th, when he was staring down the barrel, it was the only time in the whole game he didn't manage to do it. And that 4 kicked the lead out to 9 to 5. And from that point on, Auckland took it away. That 2 that Carlton scored on the 17th was actually their first multiple since the 6th end. Auckland picked up a single on the 11th, single on the 13th, then 2-2-1, 14, 15, 16. And they were just not making mistakes. And that's what this game was all about in the end, was the fact that Auckland made no mistakes. They played good bowls. They played very well together as a team. Everybody did what they should have been doing. And they are worthy champions, and they played very well to lock this game out without really causing themselves too much stress. It was a comprehensive effort by 3 of the brightest young up-and-coming players in the game in Auckland, and there's more to come for all 3 of them, of that much I'm certain.
Yeah, definitely, and it's a bit of a monumentous occasion too. First centre titles for Ryan and...
Davey?
No, Ryan and Liam. Davey, of course, winning the Champ mixed peers last year with Aggie, his auntie. So,
okay, yeah, because Liam won the Interclub Sevens.
Yeah, Interclub Sevens, which is sort of doesn't really count as a centre title. But yeah, open centre title, maiden open centre titles for these boys as well.
Yeah.
Although interestingly, I see on our records that the mixed peers from last year wasn't recorded, as that was kind of that weird, if you remember correctly, that weird pathway event that kind of didn't exist previously.
Yes.
So obviously it was determined that wasn't counted, but definitely for this year, Champ mixed peers will be a centre title.
Yeah.
But yeah, great for the young boys. I think it cements what's been a pretty successful season for them.
Yeah, and it tells you the quality of young player that's coming into the game.
Oh yeah, definitely. And as you say, there's that family legacy, but it opens up opportunities for a lot more younger players to get into the game.
Yeah, if you're at school and you're thinking, oh, is it the game for me? Well, you're looking at 3 guys who, if they've left school, have only just left school, and Liam's still at school. I think the other 2 have left now, but all of them under 20. And they've all got a big future in the game. Their future is what they want it to be. So it'll be very interesting watching them move forward.
Yeah, definitely. Right, I believe the players now are almost ready to cross down ringside with Fred from WSL for a few comments on their finals performance.
Well, guys, congratulations on a game that, in the end, was looked quite comfortable.
Yeah, well, we all played well. We've been playing well the whole tournament, to be honest, but this fella's been playing pretty good. He's on good form lately, so yeah.
And I mean, it was tight at the start, and then there was, I think it was a 5th or 6th end, you got a 4, and that sort of set you on your way.
I don't know, we're sort of in and out. Yeah, we had a couple of multiples on, but Chong played pretty good, so yeah.
And I mean, this is a culmination of 3 or 4 matches or match days. How pleased are you to finally just get a point on the Star?
Oh, no, it feels good to win with these guys because, you know, it's been around them a long time and it's just, yeah, good to win with them.
Have any of you got a point on your Star yet? Just out of interest?
No, first one for me.
First year? Yeah.
Second. Oh, it's my second one.
Your second?
I'm taking the second. Oh, third one.
Wait, no, that doesn't count.
Oh, what? You're not counting it. That's not
I suppose you guys must be the youngest guys who are floating around most of these games.
Yeah. What was the question? Sorry.
You guys must be the youngest guys floating around as the competition.
Yeah, he's probably the youngest here. We're pretty close in age.
It's a bit of fluke winning with this guy.
Yeah, I don't know how.
No, awesome. Well done, and good luck in the future.
Cheers.
Yeah, well, one of the most awkward interviews you'll probably ever see. The boys, they're a little bit camera shy when it comes to talking, but as referenced upon, some of the youngest players in Auckland, and definitely bright futures ahead of them. And yeah, just more success to come, right? So we're just concluding the women's triples finals. Women's triples semi-finals. We will be back at 3 p.m. to show you live action of the women's triples final. So on behalf of Bowls Auckland, it's Brendan and Paul signing off for now, and we'll see you again at 3 p.m.
Never really changes. And it was clear who Ron Jardine would be. The Jardines, from Lower Hutt, were an average family who refused to be average. His mum was one of the best croquet players in the world, and his dad drove the fastest horse of the day. So no one was surprised when Ron set track records at school that stood for 50 years. Or when he bulked up at the lumberyard and earned a spot on the wing for Wellington. Or when he earned the famous black jersey, but after scoring 145 first-class tries, he retired at 26, never to play rugby again. Nothing average about that. He gave himself a year to learn stockbroking and started his own firm in the fitting room of a Wellington menswear store. And you know what? Jardine became New Zealand's leading investment and advisory firm. They help fund airports, power stations, iconic buildings, advising companies, governments, and iwi, enabling homegrown brands to reach a global market. And now they help over 50,000 of us to navigate the highs and lows to reach our financial goals. Jardine helped Corrine and Mark invest and retire in Wanaka. And one day, they'll help the grandkids retire in Wanaka too. Because whether the future's about what matters most to you, or the next big thing, we're focused to deliver great outcomes for our clients. Whether they're the next Ron Jardine or anybody else who refuses to be average.